NJCASA's membership is comprised of the frontline, county-based service providers that support survivors and their loved ones throughout the state. We were supposed to have a membership meeting on Friday. It's a regular meeting held every other month that provides a chance to share statewide updates for and from our local rape crisis centers. But Friday was not a regular day. So rather than conduct our normal business, together we sat, watching a landmark Senate Judiciary Committee hearing. Together we bore witness to the willfulness of the patriarchy. It's not like we've been naively unaware of the powers that work against us. They are literally what we've been fighting against for generations. And they are not unaware either. The power brokers who are intimidated by the strength of our voice and the truth in our stories. So they attempt to silence us, ignore our expertise, intentionally dismiss the neurobiology of trauma, question our recollections and our motives, rip us open, raw, vulnerable, all in the name of justice. But we are here today to call out the hypocrisy. There's a complete disconnect between the public narrative that says more survivors need to come forward and our complete inability to honor survivors when they do. It would seem to me that there is no real desire to hold perpetrators accountable. The people in positions of power that say to one survivor, and therefore to all survivors, I believe something happened to you, but only to the extent that this belief won't disrupt my status, only to the extent that while the cameras are watching, I'll feign a compassionate response to your disclosure. But rest assured, your truth won't change my commitment to maintain the status quo. A status quo which we, predominantly women, but not exclusively women, are placated with words, but betrayed by votes. A status quo that makes us uncomfortably familiar with the red-hot rage of a powerful man whose character is being called into question. A status quo that requires that survivors, to be credible, must be demure, polite, accommodating, and pretty much damn near perfect. A status quo that says her credibility can be questioned by a teenager's calendar, because of course, real rapists keep records of such things. Just ask Harvey Weinstein, Brock Turner, and Bill Cosby. This isn't about just a Supreme Court nominee. This is about the victim-blaming narrative that has dominated our national discourse in relation to that nominee. And survivors are listening. Adult survivors of child sexual abuse, survivors of college sexual assault, survivors of workplace sexual harassment, survivor athletes, survivors of clergy abuse. The 1.8 million survivors living in New Jersey are listening, and our children are listening. Last week, the advocacy director for the National Alliance to End Sexual Violence submitted a written statement to the Senate Judiciary Committee that, in part, read, quote, "We want all senators and the nation to understand that this is much bigger than a single Supreme Court nominee. This is about the 15-year-old girl who finds herself hiding in the bathroom terrified. She is thinking, is this how I will be treated if I come forward? And the 17-year-old boy who finds himself emboldened to take without consent, he too is watching and learning. What are we teaching them both?" This isn't about partisan politics. This is about human decency.